Can God change your life in just 30 minutes? I believe you're watching right now because God has something special for you. I'm Jonathan Bernis, and I'm a Jewish rabbi who follows Jesus. Join me for Jewish Voice, and you'll discover how Bible prophecy is coming to pass before our very eyes and why you need to stand with Israel. You can play a role in God's end-time plan. Find out how on Jewish Voice. Well, shalom and welcome to Jewish Voice, where we help you to understand the Jewish roots of your Christian faith, Bible prophecy, and why you should stand with Israel. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Bernis. Thanks for joining us. Well, my guest today has made a thrilling documentary about the miraculous rebirth of this really important country. Please welcome my dear friend, Joseph Farah. Joseph, welcome back. So good to see you. It's amazing to me that this little tiny sliver of land, about the size of New Jersey, very few natural resources that have been discovered to date, not a lot of military value strategically, but it's at the center of world attention. Why so much attention?
Well, great questions. I just read a report recently that's kind of interesting in connection with this. There are 180 nations in the world, roughly. Changes a little bit every once in a while. And of those 180 nations, when you look at where Israel ranks in the areas of military ability, food security, high technology, Israel ranks in the top 10 or top 20 in half a dozen critical areas like that. And you ask yourself, how could that be? You know, with a small nation that's only 70 years old, mind you, in that brief span of history, the accomplishments are tremendous. And I think the only explanation for it is because God has his hand on Israel. Israel has been the apple of God's eye from the very beginning. And he's blessed Israel, and of course he's cursed Israel when it's walked away from him, but it's back. The Jewish people have been back in the land now for 70 years, and we are nearing what you referred to as the restoration of Israel, which, by the way, is also the restoration of the whole world.
I believe that, too. We're going to talk about how that all works and links together. Talk about the controversy also. So a lot of attention, but also a lot of controversy. President Trump's historic decision really not to move the embassy, but to stop delaying the decision the U.S. made back in 1995 to move the embassy. And immediately, December, 155 nations condemned that decision and said, no, we won't have it. Why all the controversy?
It's a great question. And by the way, the word controversy even comes up in the Bible about Israel on numerous occasions in Isaiah and in Micah and in Hosea. There's always been something controversial. Either Israel's been in controversy with God, or Israel is in controversy with the nations around it. And right now, we're in a period where Israel is the most controversial country in the whole world. Now figure this out. Not North Korea, not China, not countries that are doing abominable things to their own people, but Israel is the biggest controversy in the world to most of the nations. And we can look at all the UN resolutions that have been passed, sanctions against Israel.
Over half of all sanctions issued in the last number of years have been against Israel, and that's including North Korea and Iran and all of the...
In other words, more sanctions against Israel than every other country in the world.
Crazy.
It's not like one against another. It's Israel against the whole world.
How do you explain it?
Well, Satan's desperate. Satan knows what Israel, the future of Israel represents, the Messiah coming here to rule the world, okay, and to kick his you-know-what out of there. And so he's pulling out all the stops. He's going to war with Israel, if you will, using all the other nations of the world, using the powers and principalities and so forth. He's not going to stop the inevitable, fortunately, which means, ultimately, this is where Yeshua comes back.
Right.
His feet touch down. It's an amazing thing, and we have to get ourselves into this kingdom mind. Sometimes I think we get too wrapped up in all the terrible, gory details of the tribulation and everything, and we don't look far enough ahead, which is just a few years later, when we're all living in 1,000 years of bliss in a Garden of Eden-like world.
Oh, boy.
Why aren't we excited about that?
Listen, get excited, because regardless of the conflict and the turmoil that's ahead, it ends well. There's good news. Get a hold of that. That's so important. I'm really glad you brought that out.
The whole world really, nobody objected when Congress passed the law that we're moving nobody objected. The presidents put it off for years, decades now. And we've been told by all the experts that if this happened, it would be cataclysmic for the Middle East peace process. And the irony here is that we've been doing the same thing over and over again in this so-called Middle East peace process for decades, telling Israel to give up land, and that will bring about peace. Trump has done something extraordinary here. He's changed course. He said, of course Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. It's never been the capital of any other country in the world. It never will be. And so we're going to follow through on this. And by the way, it has not derailed peace. In fact, there are relationships being formed in the Middle East right now which are quite extraordinary. You probably saw this, that Egypt has asked Israel to assist it because it's fighting ISIS in the Sinai, and they couldn't handle it. And Israel has come in and aided Egypt very quietly. For months this has been going on.
It just seems so logical. Decades of the same thing, and it just hasn't worked.
Right.
So to repeat the same thing over and over again...
It's the definition of insanity.
Insanity. So why not try something different? Now, a question that I'm asked probably more than any other question in the last few months is, what does this mean for America, and how does this tie in prophetically? I'm going to ask you that question.
Well, those that bless Israel get blessed for it. And I'm so happy that we have a president who has taken this step and is going to follow through on it. And by the way, has really shaken things up in the Middle East in other ways. You now have Saudi Arabia that is coming to Israel and is on the verge of probably signing peace agreements with Israel, and very shortly. There's all kinds of cooperation going on between Israel and Arab nations that have been its worst enemy. Now, I don't suggest that's going to stay that way. I know there are going to be bumps in the road, but it just goes to show you that changing course, as Trump has with our country, can do positive things. Positive things can result.
Well, definitely Genesis 12. We align ourselves with God and with Israel in particular, and we receive the blessings of God. We have so much more to talk about. We're going to talk about what Israel means prophetically for the future. What about 70? What's the significance of Israel turning 70? I think it's a big event. We have some great materials to help you understand that. This DVD just came out. It's a project with WorldNet Daily that we've participated in. 70 years. This is a prophetic look at what the 70th year of Israel's restoration means. We want to get this into your hands. Here's how.
Would you like to know more about how Israel's 70th anniversary fulfills Bible prophecy? Then you'll want to order a special collection of resources that will help you understand how your future is grafted into Israel and the Jewish people. First, Joseph Farah sheds light on prophecies taking place in Israel now with a fascinating new DVD titled 70 Years, Israel's Past, Present, and Future. Learn how the unique destiny of Israel affects your destiny. Along with 70 Years, we'll send you the award-winning documentary film, The Miracle of Israel, filled with remarkable stories of God's blessing on the people and land of Israel. We'll also send you a collector's set of 3 new resources by Rabbi Jonathan Bernis: Unlocking the Prophetic Mysteries of Israel book, study guide, and 7-disc DVD set. All are yours for a one-time gift of $40 or more. Or you can become a new monthly partner for $30 a month or more. And we'll add Israel Rising by Doug Hershey. This breathtaking photo book shows God's blessing on Israel that changed it from a desert wasteland to a rich, abundant oasis in the Middle East. We will also send you this stunning Israel wall art exclusively for our Jewish Voice partners. So please call now and specify offer 4152 to receive all of these gifts with your new monthly partnership of $30 or more. You can also receive these gifts for your one-time donation of $70 or more. Specify offer 2018 when giving a one-time gift of $40 or more. You can also go to our website, jewishvoice.tv, with your gift of support, or send it to us at Jewish Voice, Post Office Box 6, Phoenix, Arizona 85001.
Welcome back. I have a great guest today, Joseph Farah. He is the president of WorldNet Daily. What a great website. And we're talking about a modern miracle, the restoration of that little sliver of land in the Middle East, Israel, 70 years. And by the way, great job on this video, 70 years. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. This is really a prophetic event. I believe that. You believe that.
It's huge.
Why do we believe it? Why do we believe 70 years?
Yeah, for so many reasons. 70 is a big year in the Bible. Look it up. Go look for it. Search 70 years in the Bible, or the number 70. Hundreds of references to 70. It's like the perfection or something. Anyway, we know that some very profound things have happened to the state of Israel. Being reborn in 1948 is a huge thing.
There's an excitement about 70 in my spirit.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good apologetic, but you're right. 70 marks something significant. And the fact that Israel's not only survived against all odds for 70 years now, but thrived, prospered. It's miraculous.
And there are other dates that have been happening right now, too. Just in the last 365 days, we've seen the 50th anniversary of the reunification of Jerusalem. We've seen the 100th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration. Lots of things happening in this same time period. But I believe May, and I think you'll be in Jerusalem in May. It's so exciting.
Yeah,
Wish I could be there.
I'm so excited. Let's talk about the prophets and what they wrote about in connection with what's happening now. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the last question that the disciples asked Jesus before he ascends into heaven, is this the time? That's the last question they asked. Now, they've spent 40 days with Jesus in the resurrected form, and they've had lots of time to ask questions, and that's the foremost question that's on their mind. What do all the prophets talk about? From creation onward, Peter tells the common denominator in all the prophecies is about the restoration of the kingdom. So, and of all things, too. This is a reformed world, a Garden of Eden kind of, a paradise-like existence, not only in Israel, which is the center of that world. It's where Jesus will rule and reign over the whole world, but it's the restoration of the world. It's restoring what got broken in the garden.
Let's elaborate on this a little bit more. This is about everyone. The restoration of Israel affects everyone, affects the whole world. I mean, I look at you, and what's a nice a nice boy from an Arab family doing, loving Israel and standing with Israel and supporting Israel? But because this is a bigger issue.
Well, do we all like peace? Do we all like justice? Do we all like truth? Do we all like abundance? This is what the kingdom's about, okay? Nobody cannot like the kingdom. And so, keeping in mind, it's going to be Jesus is going to be in charge. He's going to be holding us all accountable. But the blessings are just unbelievable in that world. And it all starts here. With the restoration, you can already see the restoration taking place when you go to Israel. This is one of the things I love to talk about, Jonathan, in Israel, is you see two things so clearly in Israel. When you look at the ruins, when you look at the rocks and the archaeology, you see the judgment, okay? And then you look at the land and the people and you see restoration. It's happening before our eyes. A classic example is when, go to Caesarea and you in that amphitheater there, and you talk about all the ruins around you, which have sort of been restored so that we can see them. And at the same time, this palace and this amphitheater of Herod's is now part of an Israeli national park. I just love that. I mean, it's like God's little joke on this Antichrist figure of Herod.
I agree with you 100%, and I think that most of the people watching agree, but there may be those that have been exposed to a teaching that spiritualizes all this.
I can't even
it's
understand
growing,
that. Yeah.
says Israel there's nothing about the land of Israel or the people of Israel that matters because Jesus is coming to a spiritual Jerusalem. We are Israel, so God is fulfilling his promises. I know you've heard that. How do you respond to it?
Well, I mean, you get to a point where you allegorize things and nothing means anything anymore. And I think that's that's crossing that bridge when you do that. Because there's so much about the kingdom, and it's such an important concept, and it's what all the prophets talk about. But it's not real. It's not what they said it was. That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't seem like truth to me. That seems like people were being deceived by telling them the kingdom was going to be restored, that the Messiah was going to sit on the throne of David. Yes or no? I mean, is it real or not? I don't know how you allegorize that. It just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know either, but sadly it's it's been built on a 2,000-year
Yes.
a lie. Like, we really need to speak out truth against that because Jesus said, understand the times we live in. The fig tree, when the fig tree blossoms, that the time is near. Don't be ignorant of that. It may be a mystery, but people aren't to be ignorant of that mystery.
I agree. It's so important. I believe the Bible's true 100%. And if I look at it any other way, then I lose faith in all of it.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but
Why not just spiritualize the resurrection and the ascension?
Right.
Hey, talk about the video project, the documentary. I had the privilege of participating. I think it's a really important documentary for people to watch. Talk about what they're going to see.
Well, I want to thank you for carrying the water on it because you're the star of the movie. I just want to say that.
Well, I love being involved in it.
You covered so much ground in, a relatively short documentary, and it's very well done. I'm proud of it for what you did. What I wanted to accomplish with this is I wanted to mark this very special occasion of the 70th anniversary. I felt for a long time, years actually, I had to do something, whether it was a book or whatever. And finally I said, well, I think it's a movie. And I was just scrambling. As you know, you were scrambling right along with me. How do we pull all this together?
Well, I'm so glad. I really believe the Lord told you to do this.
Yes.
This is a moment in history. This is a prophetic time. That's all I can say. First of all, this documentary, 70 years, is unlike anything you'll see anywhere else and will really help you to understand the prophetic role of Israel. And that's why I'm also including my newest book, Unlocking the Prophetic Mysteries of Israel, a whole library that includes a study guide, that includes the DVD teachings. I want to sow this into your life as you help us to sow into the lives of Jewish people with urgently needed medical care and the gospel. And if you can do something a little larger, I have a beautiful coffee table book I want to send you as well. Here's how to get these important resources.
Would you like to know more about how Israel's 70th anniversary fulfills Bible prophecy? Then you'll want to order a special collection of resources that will help you understand how your future is grafted into Israel and the Jewish people. First, Joseph Farah sheds light on prophecies taking place in Israel now with a fascinating new DVD titled 70 Years, Israel's Past, Present, and Future. Learn how the unique destiny of Israel affects your destiny. Along with 70 Years, we'll send you the award-winning documentary film, The Miracle of Israel, filled with remarkable stories of God's blessing on the people and land of Israel. We'll also send you a collector's set of 3 new resources by Rabbi Jonathan Bernis. Unlocking the Prophetic Mysteries of Israel book, study guide, and 7-disc DVD set. All are yours for a one-time gift of $40 or more. Or you can become a new monthly partner for $30 a month or more, and we'll add Israel Rising by Doug Hershey. This breathtaking photo book shows God's blessing on Israel that changed it from a desert wasteland to a rich, abundant oasis in the Middle East. We will also send you this stunning Israel wall art exclusively for our Jewish Voice partners. So please call now and specify offer 4152 to receive all of these gifts with your new monthly partnership of $30 or more. You can also receive these gifts for your one-time donation of $70 or more. Specify offer 2018 when giving a one-time gift of $40 or more. You can also go to our website, jewishvoice.tv, with your gift of support, or send it to us at Jewish Voice, Post Office Box 6, Phoenix, Arizona 85001.
I want to tell you, this is a prophetic moment in history. Israel celebrating her 70th anniversary. This is a moment in time that you don't want to miss. Joseph, I believe this documentary is God-breathed. I believe God told you to do this, and I'm honored to have been part of it. What's unique about this that's different than any other thing out there? Because there's a lot of celebration going on, but this one's unique.
When you see the 70th anniversary of Israel taking place, and you see these extraordinary developments, things we've talked about, Israel being stronger, more prosperous, having a big impact on the world, you know, Zechariah 12 and so forth, happening. You know that we're so close to the time.
I know we are. What I want people watching to understand is this is a prophetic moment in history. In other words, the prophets long to see this day. Mm-hmm. And it's not for just a certain group of people that say, I'm interested. This affects everyone.
That's right.
Everyone. This is going to impact the whole world. It's going to impact you at home.
We see things in prophecy, future prophecy today, that we can envisioning happening tomorrow. You know, amazing, especially in light of what we saw when Trump made the announcement about Jerusalem, and you saw this uproar from all the nations of the world. I mean, you could almost see them getting ready to line up and surround Jerusalem. And so that's where we are on the prophetic roadmap right now.
And we're in the story. That's what's, we're all in the story. Now let's talk about some not so good news. Persecution. The Bible talks about persecution.
Yes, it does. It talks about it in the signs of the times that we should be looking for to know that Jesus is at the door again.
Do you see it getting worse?
Absolutely. I think if we look at the prophecies, that's where we're headed. But again, it's a short time. It's a relatively short. The Great Tribulation is a period of 7 years. Hey, we've all been through 7 or 8 year periods of tough times on earth, haven't we? Yeah. And we've pulled through.
And I don't know whether we're going through it or not. I have guests on that make a great case for pre-tribulation rapture, post-tribulation, mid-tribulation, pan-tribulation. It'll all pan out in the end. Either way, we're protected because the Lord promises, I will see you through. And and greater is He that is in us than he that is in the world. And then after that, the promise of revival. Talk about revival.
Absolutely. What we're going to see is the whole world recognizing, first of all, can you imagine when the whole world recognizes who Jesus is, and when the Jewish people, you know, of Israel recognize him as their Messiah. I mean, think about that. Could there be anything else in the history of the world that means as much as this? And yes, there's a revival because, you know, if you look at the prophetic descriptions of people from all around the world flocking to Israel, you know, hanging on to the you know, tzitzit of their, you know, Jewish friends and trying to learn from them. And, you know, this is where the new covenant is completely fulfilled too. When, you know, no one has to teach you the law anymore. It's totally in our hearts. People who tell me they think the new covenant's been fulfilled, I say, well, wait a minute. I don't know. I still need to be taught right from wrong. I still need to be taught the scriptures. That's not going to be the case in that world of ours.
I'm so excited. We see through a glass darkly now.
That's right.
It says in 1 Corinthians, but then face to face. I can't wait. I can't wait. One last thing. We're almost out of time, but I want you to talk about the Messianic Jewish role, because very few people talk about this.
Yes.
We're seeing more Jewish people come to know Jesus as their Messiah today than any time in history, really since the first century. What meaneth this?
Right. Well, let's go back to the first century, how it was then. All of the leaders of what we call the church today were Messianic believers. All of the apostles, all of the early converts to following Jesus, all of them, probably for decades, okay? So this is where the Messianic Jewish movement was on fire and changing the whole world, turning the world upside down. That's the way it was in the beginning, and as we go toward the end, I believe, and I think I can cite some scripture to back this up, I believe it's going to be like that in the end, too. And there is evidence of it before us, as you say. More Messianic Jews than ever before. More active, more high profile, too. Not just in sheer numbers. And of course, we know, if we look at Revelation, there's 144,000 believers who are practicing the commandments and loving Jesus. Who are they?
And moving in the power of God. Well, I think
That's
it's
right.
pretty clear. You got me so excited. I hope you are. We're living, and I'm not I don't want to be a sensationalist, but I think we're living in the greatest period in world history. I really do. We have some incredible materials we want to get into your hands. We want to sow them into your life so you understand not only the times we live in, but your role in these last days. You may have questions, you may have prayer needs. I want you to know that we're here for you. You can log on to our website. It's jewishvoice.tv. Again, jewishvoice.tv. I want you to know this. Whatever you're going through or the world's going to go through, God loves you. Remember that, and so do we. I want to thank my dear friend Joseph Farah for joining us today. And as we close our program, I want to remind you of Psalm 122:6. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love thee. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Bernis saying shalom and God bless you.
Don't miss the Jewish Voice 2019 Israel Tour. You'll walk the ancient streets where Yeshua walked. You'll learn from Jonathan Bernis as he shares teachings at historic sites like the Old City of Jerusalem and other inspiring locations throughout Israel. You'll also enjoy your choice of 4- or 5-star accommodations, make new friends, savor some of Israel's most delectable foods, and experience memorable adventures, such as being baptized in the River Jordan or renewing your wedding vows aboard a boat on the Sea of Galilee. Here's a special message from Jonathan.
I want to personally invite you to join me and my family in Israel. It will change your life and you will never read the Bible the same again.
For more information, call 800-299-9374 or go to jewishvoice.tv/Israel. Again, 800-299-9374 or jewishvoice.tv/Israel.